Hi students, hope all of you are doing fine and welcome to our new session. We are going to see the JEE Mains question paper analysis and our January session 2025 and in particularly physics. Okay, right. So mainly in this we can say that compared to chemistry or even mathematics, so physics exam in all the sessions, all the 10 sessions, relatively it is easy or moderate. Okay, so most of the questions they are simple formula oriented, except a few questions in some of the sessions. Otherwise it is always a scoring one. Okay, and hoping that each one of you have really done well and got good marks in the physics. Okay, in this video we'll have just an analysis of that, and not only that, we'll also see what the best things that you can do, how you can so that you will have a good performance in the April shift also. Right? Okay, let us see. So in this, first of all, let us see in which of the chapters you got a good weightage of the questions. Okay, how it came in all the sessions. Right? Fine. So key things, some interesting things. So our first year chapters you have in units and dimensions, basic mathematics and even vectors whenever, and of course this also includes the errors and measurements. You got 12 questions, means almost in every paper you got the question in this, which is one of the definitely a good weightage, one of the important chapter, and of course it doesn't consume much time also. Okay, Newton's laws of motion and friction, you got only 2 questions. Okay, which is of course okay, it's a lengthy chapter, but still you got only 2 questions. And next kinematics, both 1D and 2D, okay, 7 questions. And of course circular motion, here you got the questions on the dynamics of circular motion, which are altogether 4 questions in all the, in all the 10 papers I'm taking. Okay, the number of questions in all the 10 papers. Okay, right. So circular motion 4 questions. Work power energy is one of the important chapter, as I was always telling you. Okay, in especially in the mechanics, compulsory, whatever may be the examination, compulsory you will get 1 question in the work power energy. So that means 11 means average, you can say every paper you got 1 question, right? And center of mass, conservation of linear momentum and collisions, of course here again you got only less number of questions, that is only 4. And when it comes to the rotational dynamics, okay, one of the lengthy chapter, and of course a lot of students may feel a little difficulty, but here in our JEE Mains you got 15 questions, but in this majority, 99% of the questions are only based on the moment of inertia. So always in the rotational dynamics, how much important, especially when it comes to the JEE Mains level, okay, moment of inertia, if you are going through properly, and especially the usage of the parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem, okay, those type of questions, okay, rotational dynamics. So altogether you got 15 questions, right? And when it comes to the fluid mechanics, combining with fluid statics, dynamics and surface tension and viscosity, of course questions have appeared in the fluid dynamics also, and also surface tension also. Total you got this time, it is a good number, because in the 2024 you did not get much of the questions on fluid mechanics, but here you got more questions, means on an average every paper you got 1 question in that mechanical properties of fluids, right? Okay, next SHM, simple harmonic motion, also you got simple questions only based on the kinematics of SHM. You got 5 questions, okay, out of the 10 papers. And major thing in 2025 January session is geometrical optics. So geometrical optics, you have got 24 questions. Mean there were papers wherein you have got 3 questions also in the geometrical optics, right? So 24 questions in all the 10 papers, means on an average you got more than 2 questions. Every paper has got more than 2 questions in the geometrical optics. Okay, right, that is one of the important observation in this. Next, when it comes to electrostatics, yes, of course always electrostatics is a very important chapter. Okay, and you are getting you got around around 17 questions. So this time it's a good weightage, and of course accordingly you got the number of questions also, right, in electrostatics. Of course in the electrostatics also questions have been involved in the Coulomb's law, electric field, some questions on electric potential and electric flux, like that type of questions only you have got in the electrostatics, right? Next, and when it comes to the gravitation, you got 8 questions. And one more important chapter in the electricity and magnetism is current electricity, which is always generally students feel a lot more comfortable. Yes, you got 11 questions, means every paper you got 1 question, that is in current electricity. Similarly, and one more thing is in capacitors also, usually in the earlier times, like previous exams, whenever you were getting question on current electricity, you won't get question on capacitors. But this time, every paper they got question on current electricity also, capacitors also, okay? And both of them are easy chapters. Generally, the students will feel easy chapters only, right? And electromagnetism, right? You got 12 questions, and induction is 8 questions. So altogether this time electricity and magnetism also, compared to mechanics, electricity and magnetism related questions are more in number, right? Now when it comes to alternating current, you got 4 questions, right? And waves, this is also generally it's only 1 question, because it's a lengthy chapter. Generally we say, because you will all have to study string waves, you have to study sound waves and all, but overall you got only 1 question out of that. Okay, and sound waves only 2 questions, means total waves and sound waves you got around 3 questions. And next, electromagnetic wave, this is also one of the important chapter, and it's a small chapter only, and even wave optics also, it's a small chapter. These two together, see this. So wave optics and our electromagnetic waves, really it's those who have studied these 2 chapters very well, they got a very good edge, because all 10 papers, okay, got 18 questions, means on an average just a slightly less than 2, because you can say both the chapters 1 question almost every paper you got, right? Next, modern physics, yes, which includes your dual nature of matter, atoms and also nuclei, you got 19 questions, means you can say every paper dual nature compulsory question was there, and atoms and nuclei also almost 1 question. So 19 questions means on an average 2 questions in every paper, but that's because of total 10, right? Next, and yeah, semiconductors also you got 10 questions, means every paper you got 1 question semiconductor, whether it is a small related semiconductors starting type PN junctions and applications, or it is related to the logic gates. Okay, and when it comes to errors and measurement and the 1-year caliper and all, that also you got, yes, 7 questions. See, if you observe, starting things only, just errors and measurements, and even if you observe like units and dimensions, basic mathematics and all vectors, here if you take these 12 questions, along with that, if you take these 7, you got altogether 19, means, so almost like 20 questions, means every paper. So just the units and dimensions, vectors, okay, errors and measurements and measuring instruments, if you study simple topics, 2 questions compulsory you are getting in the JEE Mains. Okay, so that is how it happened, okay, in all those 10 sessions, right? Next, all these things put together, if you try to see, okay, our mechanics. So first year, just we are dividing like first part mechanics up to rotational dynamics. If you see 43 questions, okay, on an average of 4.3 questions in each paper, okay, up to rotational dynamics, right? This excludes this units and dimensions, vectors, errors, and apart from this, okay, I mean to say, starting from kinematics, Newton's laws, friction, work power energy, center of mass, collisions, and rotational dynamics, you got this number of questions. Similarly, when it comes to heat and thermodynamics, and as well as that our properties of matter, which includes mechanical properties of solids and liquid, this is almost, I can say, the second part of first year, and this is the first part of the first year. So if you look at this second part of the first year, you got 41 questions. So which is very much similar to this mechanics, right? Okay, and our SHM and waves, you got only 8 questions here, and gravitation also you got 8 questions. See, so this is up to our almost like first year, okay, including SHM also, and also gravitation, right? So see this one and see this one, right? Next, when it comes to the second year part, electricity and magnetism along with the electromagnetic waves, of course, definitely you got this 60 questions as I was telling you. So compared to mechanics second year part, electricity and magnetism has got more weightage in this, right? Next, geometrical optics and wave optics together also you got 42 questions overall. Okay, so 42 questions is also definitely geometrical optics and wave optics, only 2 chapters here, right? And see that 42 questions means average 4 questions in each paper. 4 questions means definitely 20 marks there, right? Only 2 chapters here. And when it comes to modern physics, yes, 19 questions as I told you, modern physics, 2 questions in each, right? And when it comes to units and dimensions, vectors, errors and measurements, all these two together, 19 questions, right? And semiconductors, of course, 10 questions. Okay, so based on this, what analysis that we can make, right? So how we can go into the April session, okay, JEE mains. Let us see. So what is that weightage? More or less, they are going to follow the same weightage, whether it's in April shift also, right? Okay, fine. Next, let us also have a look on how many questions appeared from the 11th class, I mean inter first year, and in the inter second year, right? Yes, more or less here 119 questions and 131 questions, averaging around 12 questions in each paper in the first year, 11th class, and 13 questions from the second year. That's every year, almost they'll follow the same, right? Next. Next, coming to the leveling of the questions. So it is, whatever may be the shift, so most of the things are almost you have 50% moderate. Okay, 50% is a moderate, and some of the shifts like here and here, a little bit tougher side is also, okay, some of the sessions. Apart from that, if you compare these two, okay, 70% is always between easy and moderate, 70 or 75% easy to moderate only physics. So if you see these last 5 years trend also, and same trend they have followed in 2025 also, always physics paper is going to be easy to moderate only. It is always a scoring subject, unlike the, of course, this time mathematics they made a little tougher side only, but that is definitely compensated from the physics. Okay, right. Next. How many questions are straightforward, direct, and calculation? Of course, because it is physics, definitely every session we got almost 75% or 70 to 80% of the questions are always calculation based, and why not? Because it's a physics subject. Some of the direct questions are also there. In some sessions, very few are there direct questions. In some sessions, like here, okay, 25% were having direct. Overall, on an average, okay, around 18% direct answer type of questions. Calculation based is around 75%, and multi-topic questions is only around 6 to 7%. Because it's a mains exam, mostly multi-conceptual questions, maximum to maximum they'll be giving you 2 or 3 questions. Okay, overall analysis like 20 questions are always doable in the physics subject, whether it is any type of session you can have. Right. Next, we have also encountered some assertion reason type of questions. Altogether, all the 10 papers you got 14 assertion type of questions, and some of the statement 1, statement 2, like that questions are also there. Some 3 questions, they're all like theoretical. And matrix match listing type questions, you've got 6. Okay, right. Anyway, now keeping this in mind, what are the main things that we have to follow, key points, okay, which should definitely help you for our April session? Yeah, first year we got around 47-48%, and second year we got around 50-53% syllabus. Okay, this is how it happened, right? Next, this is one of the important table, okay, which students have to follow even for the April session also. Okay, all this keeping in mind, I have classified all the chapters into high weightage and less time taking, okay, to cover that, and of course high weightage and more time taking to cover that, low weightage and less time, and of course low weightage and more time. Okay, again it depends on the student to student. Those who are targeting 80 above, okay, for them definitely it's a different strategy. Okay, and those are targeting 50, for them different strategy. First I'll go with the students those are targeting 50 or 60 marks. Definitely, okay, for them exclusively in the April session, yes, I want to score at least 50 to 60 marks in physics so that I can manage in the chemistry and mathematics other marks, so that I'll get a good NIT seat. For those students, compulsory first thing they have to go through these chapters. Modern physics, these are all the chapters generally which will have very good weightage, as you have seen in the 2025 also. Okay, and also it takes very less time to cover those, to revise those. Okay, modern physics, which includes, you know, dual nature of matter, atoms and nuclei, direct simple formulas properly, and standard type of questions, those questions only will be regularly frequently coming in the modern physics. So compulsory you will get 2 questions out of this. Semiconductors also, because they have also removed this transistors part in semiconductors, which really made this chapter again an easier chapter, and compulsory you are getting 1 question in the semiconductors, right? Next, even electromagnetic waves also, as we have seen, almost in every paper 1 question you are getting. Simple electromagnetic waves also, just you have to know how the equation of the electromagnetic wave, what is energy density, what is displacement current, some 3-4 formulas are there that if you go through, this is also one of the easy chapter. And even wave optics also, so every time you are getting standard questions like in YDSC regarding fringe width, regarding the positions of some maxima, minima, or if at all any glass plate is placed, okay, that type of questions in wave optics. Apart from that, diffraction questions and polarization questions also they are included in wave optics. And units and dimensions, every student can easily work out units and dimensions, dimension formulas. Errors and measurement also, percent errors they have given this time, okay, small errors, percent errors, and along with that some measuring instruments also, right, which they have given. Kinematics, 1D, 2D, yes. Okay, simple uniform acceleration or graph related questions, and 2D also projectiles and simple kinematics of circular motion. If you go through, that's enough. Properties of matter also, this is also one more area. Here, please go through mechanical properties of solids properly, and mechanical properties of fluids also, in that you go through surface tension, viscosity and fluid dynamics only, rather than fluid statics. Okay, because fluid statics is a little lengthy. So fluid dynamics and surface tension, viscosity, simple formulas if you go through, that also will do. And yes, current, electricity, which most of the students generally will be comfortable. These compulsory chapters which every student have to go through, which will have definitely a very good weightage, and also it will take a less time also. Of course, next there are also chapters which are also having a very good weightage, but of course it takes time also, provided already you have gone through earlier properly, which includes geometrical optics, as we have also seen almost more number of questions what you got in geometrical optics, and work power energy compulsory question. Okay, here also, and rotational dynamics also, in that please go through only moment of inertia if you are not comfortable with the other topics. Okay, only moment of inertia, just you go through thoroughly, definitely that will give you 1 question compulsory. Okay, heat and thermodynamics, yes, and again here 2 parts. In this also you have like thermal properties of matter, which includes calorimetry, heat transfer, and thermal expansion, and the other part which also includes kinetic theory of gas and thermodynamics. Definitely it's having a very good weightage. In that also be specific, in that some chapters, like if you are comfortable with KTG, go for KTG. If you are comfortable with only thermal properties of matter, go with that, okay? But definitely in that, don't try to, completely remove that. So in that, which particular topics you know, that you go through, that you revise properly, and you will definitely score a good questions here, right? Next, electrostatics. Definitely it is also a good weightage, and of course it takes some time to revise also. If you are comfortable, definitely don't neglect this, right? So, and again, electromagnetic induction also in the same, right? Next, you also have some more topics which have low weightage, but that also takes less time. In that, you have SHM. In that, only go through kinematics of SHM, okay, and mainly simple pendulum, compound pendulum, okay, and spring block systems you can go through in a simple harmonic motion. Next comes our alternating currents also. Alternating currents also, this also less time only it will take, because just you have to go through how to draw the phasor diagrams, what is that impedance related things, series only, LR circuits, LC, LCR, series, resonance, and all that. If you go through, it will be done. Capacitors, which generally students will be more comfortable, so that's why they can go through these things also, right? So these two, if you go through properly, and in this some selected things if you make out, no, definitely you will easily target around 70 marks, that's for sure, okay? And if you target total this all along with these two, this total all chapters, if you are targeting this, definitely you are going to score 80 plus marks, okay? Of course, if your target is above 90 and all, okay, definitely there are other chapters which are also having low weightage, and of course it takes more time. Like in 2025 also you got less number of questions from the waves. Of course, gravitation you got 7 or 8 questions altogether, but again it depends on the student to student. Some students will be more comfortable in gravitation because most of the concepts are related to electrostatics. For them, they can go through. And LNM friction, okay, that's again up to the students. Mainly these two, okay, so not many questions what you got. NLM, friction, center of mass. If you are not at all comfortable, don't go through these things, right? Okay, right. Anyway, so keeping all this in mind, so just to finally we want to conclude some important things, like suppose how to go into the our April shift. First thing, presently most definitely you are all doing your practicals, your IP preparation, and whenever it is IP preparation also, any chapters whatever you are taking, that again in the mains level also you can go through at least up to February 20th. If you go through properly, definitely that is a good preparation for the April shift. And even after completing your IP exams, don't forget to write the grant tests, because again you will have a lot of gap, so practice is very much essential. You have to write the grant tests, okay, after the IP exams, I think which will be in the March 20. So after that you have to write the grant tests so that you will be comfortable for the second phase, okay? And further, physics definitely it is a like before, earlier, like before 5 years and all, so physics used to be a tough subject, man. Now all these 5 years if you see, definitely it is a very good scoring subject. Keep that in mind, okay? So always you have to focus on this particular subject so that your score will improve. Next, and the students, this is for the students who are taking a April phase. And also some more important points for the students who have completed inter first year also, for them also, inter first year, they may not be comfortable at mechanics, some of them, or some of them may not be comfortable in some other areas. No need to worry. In second year, if you concentrate on the chapters which I have told, along with that in the revision, if you again just put more effort on some of the first year topics, definitely you will also get very good marks in the physics. And 10th class students who are taking a seat in the for IIT coaching, for them also I am telling you, physics is one of the easiest subject. With that mindset, read physics properly and you can score very good marks in the physics. Okay, thank you very much.